Good morning, everyone. I'm David with Bolivar Live. We're down here on the sunny beaches of Bolivar Peninsula, 27 miles. I'm here with Jim Denny's. We're going to talk about the H2 Brew House Bolivar Rig Run happening Saturday, August 14th at 11 a.m., where they race out to the rig, down the beach and back, and we're going to see who wins. But first, this Bolivar Live is brought to you by the Big Store. When you're on Bolivar and you need anything, stop by the Big Store and you'll be greeted by a staff with smiling faces and a staff that's eager to help you find what you're looking for. If the Big Store doesn't have it, chances are you really don't need it. Jim, you made it back. Last time we talked to him, he was in Michigan, but he had the hat on and was showing his Texas pride up there. Let's talk about what's happened since last week. How many, have you gotten more boats? Is it looking even bigger?
Well, it is bigger. We have another boat that's joined the fleet. We'll have 34 boats. One boat went ahead and changed. They went to, so they could compete with the winner from last year's race. And we're going to have two NACA 500s in the event. Another fellow changed his boat out to a Tornado, which is a much faster boat. So he'll be in the fleet. And with 34 boats, we should have a very, crowded, sail-filled beach area here on Bolivar. Looking forward to seeing it.
Now, I've been covering this for 2 years, and tell us, like 3 years ago, the first race you had, how many boats you had?
We started with 4.
4 boats to the rig and back,
right,
and had a real good time. And then it's grown. Last year, how many boats you have?
We had 32, and we probably ended up having about 29, 30 that actually competed, because some boats will get set up and then they have a failure and they can't go.
Compete. A little bit different this year. Not only is it growing, you've got radio contact, and that's what this race is all about, is raising money so that in future races, every boat will have a radio, right?
Right.
And what that does is if they have breakdowns, if they have a problem, someone gets sick, they can radio back up. They have a tent set up that they monitor all the boats from, and spotters and people out in the water, and they're going to have communication with the boats. What else has changed this year? Are you still going down the beach to Retillion Road?
Yes. We're going to start the first boats off on what's called the wreck or stretch course, which will take everybody down past Biscayne, and there's a wreck about 500 yards offshore there off of Retillion Road. And depending on the winds, the boats could be flying like they were last year into the turn. And then once they make that turn around the wreck, they'll go offshore there to the rig, and then they come back to the beach.
So depending on the wind, there could be a lot of tacking going on.
Yeah, you never really know. Predominantly we get the southeast wind, so that'll help them take them down the beach. And so it's fast going down the beach. So if you're anywhere from where the start is to Retillion Road, you're going to see a lot of the boats jockeying for position. And if you're going straight off to the second launch, would be just the rig and back, you'll see a lot of boats going in either direction to try to grab wind and get offshore.
What's the worst wind we could have? I know no wind is bad, but what's the worst wind for this race?
Gee, I really haven't thought about it. I always take whatever wind I have. Typically, a north wind is something that can be quite dangerous, because that means the front's coming in, and it doesn't give the sailors a whole lot of room for safety, because if they were to break down, it's going to push them offshore. So we like to sail in a southeast wind that pushes everything on the beach. If there is a breakdown like we had a couple of years ago, the fellows did wash ashore, but they came on, probably about 3 miles down the beach, and they actually demasted over by the rig. So it took them about 2 hours to float into the beach. Rig run next weekend. Be here.
The race starts at 11 o'clock. What time do people start setting up so that? And really, like you said, viewing from the washout all the way down to the Retillion Road, you're going to be able to see the race, even if they're just going out to the rig and back. Is there anything else you want to let people know on on space, giving sailors space in that?
Typically, when we set up, we'll set up about 200 yards on the beach, and when the boats are in position on the beach, we would like to make sure that if anybody is in the water in that area, please do not, make sure you keep a track of your little ones if they're not in the water when the boats are approaching the beach or launching. It's really more critical when the boats are coming back because they have absolutely no control over where they go. That wind is going to push them on shore, and it can push them on shore at very fast. And if a little one's in the way, it's very dangerous. They could get run over. So keep the kids out of the water when the boats are returning to the beach.
They're going to set up. They'll start setting up early Saturday morning. The race starts at noon Saturday. And then typically, how long will the race last? I know last year, I think it was like 4 o'clock.
Right.
Or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it all depends on the winds, but typically you might have some boats getting back to the beach in an hour, hour and a half. A couple of years ago, we had very little wind, and it probably was about 4 hours.
4 hours
return. So it all depends on the wind. If we get a good, moderate 10-mile-an-hour wind, it'll be an hour and a half, 2 hour race. If it's slower. If it's faster, who knows?
Yeah. We're going to be streaming the start of the race, actually from Coastal 1, and give you an aerial view of it as long as the wind's not too bad. And then we'll keep you updated throughout the race. We also have the Port Bolivar cook-off going on that weekend, so I'll be both places. But please, if you come down to watch the race, like Jim said, we want you down here. We want you to enjoy and have fun in the sun, watch the race, but please, in the race area, and like he said, it could take up 200 yards where the boats are. Please watch your kids, watch yourself, and try and keep that area clean. We've got miles and miles of beachfront to watch from that you don't have to be, excuse me, right here where it starts. They're going to kick off just on the west side of the washout. They'll have their central tent, and I can tell you from years past, y'all go out of your way for safety, both on the beach and in the water, having spotters out, having people on the shoreline spotting. And so, Jim, hopefully the weather's just like this, maybe a little bit more wind than what we've got now. Is there any other messages you want to give to everyone?
Yeah, it wouldn't be possible for us to host this event without our sponsors. The H2 Brew House has done a wonderful job for the last 6 years supporting this event. And this year, because we want to improve the safety element of the race, they've reached out and they have brought in Southern Broadband. They brought in Margaret Lindrow and Keller Williams there, Third Coast Parasail, and I understand Bobby's going to go ahead and have his boat offshore to help support the race, his big parasail boat. So,
that's right.
And we've got a bunch of other sponsors: Gary Hammond, Kathy Hammond Real Estate, Crystal Beach Decor and More, Travel and Tiki, Vaportown, It's the Beach, the NHFL, Sign Solutions, and of course Crystal Beach Marketing, who has done a great job of putting all the sponsors together. So we really appreciate all of our sponsors.
Well, next Saturday, August 14th, here on Bolivar Peninsula, the 7th annual H2 Brew House Bolivar Rig Run is going to take place. Boats will leave shoreline at noon. Make sure you're set up early, get your pit going, and enjoy a full day of fun in the sun here on the Upper Texas coast. Jim, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be back later on and keep you posted during the race, and actually the kickoff, we're going to have Coastal 1 up in there so you can see it live. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless. Jim, thanks, and glad you're back in Texas.
Glad I'm back too.
God bless, and bye-bye.